the ESL Go4R Cup R6 Siege, and it's going to be the Italy Cup 100. And this afternoon, we're going to be watching See You Next Week versus Elude Esports. The map will be Coastline. Excuse the voice right now, super sick, but still here to try and cast and at least give you guys a picture of what's going on. So again, the map will be Coastline. See You Next Week will be on attack, and Elude Esports will be on defense. The bans will come out, with the defending team getting the first and last bans in an effort to try to make the middle two bans a little bit more fair for the attacking team, since obviously you think the defending team has more of a natural advantage depending on the map. The first ban that's going to come out here is Thatcher. Going to be extremely important trying to hold some of the walls, especially if they plan on playing penthouse upstairs. Then Blackbeard is going to be the next ban that comes out. Blackbeard, extremely important on Coastline, especially with the amount of windows that are on this site. For instance, you know, the hookah window, you have the billiards window, the penthouse window, etc. There are plenty of options where Blackbeard, even on reverse repel, can be extremely powerful. Maestro also coming out on the first defensive ban, and that is going to deny a significant amount of information in addition to plan denial, depending on how you actually use Maestro as well. Now, the final wouldn't be surprised to see Mira, since this is Europe, but actually not. It's going to be Pulse, and that will deny the underneath play there and plant denial and information from the defending team, which is, again, Elude Esports starting off. So coming into round number one, again, if you're not super familiar with competitive play, you have a much less time to pick your operators. Then you have a reveal phase where you can see the operators, but not the people who are playing them. You then have a chance to 6-pick, and that 6-pick will get one per team, so you can change without the enemy team knowing what you're bringing, and then the prep phase will begin. There are no points, there are no markers, etc. on the map during gameplay. And the first 6-pick will come out from Ciola, and that's from Echo to Jaeger, and then we'll see one from Buck to Ash as well there for See You Next Week. Pretty decently standard lineups here, with the exception of with See You Next Week and not bringing out a hard breach at all. So kind of interested to see how that plays out for them, but not like they really need it too much on Hookah Balcony, with the exception of maybe the VIP take. You know, if you're trying to get into VIP and open up that long angle into billiards, which is a fairly common angle nonetheless, but it is something that will have to their advantage if they choose to reinforce those walls. This is, again, the Go4R Cup, and anyone is more than welcome to pop into these ESL Cups, as long as you can register on your team online. Elude trying to bring out quite a bit of information here too, as we look at Marmot and Ciola there with the Valkyrie. So she gets 3 black eye counts as a Valkyrie. Having thrown all 3 of them, quite a bit of information that will be coming out for their team here today. We do have 3 soft breachers though here on See You Next Week, which is going to be really important here as you start to look at how they're going to actually take the side out with that castle as well. So Sledge and Bomber were going to come in really handy here for this take. They're starting to try and identify GG and Marmot, who are both playing underneath. They're in office and security, trying to really deny this take onto Bomber, who's just holding the angle onto above. But GG's actually going to get the opening kill there onto Bomber, waiting right outside office, and Marmot both playing in there, and this could prove fairly fatal as one guy left tries to peek in, but is also taken out almost immediately from GG here. And Rob now also going to go down in this contest into office and Sunrise Bar, and is just falling apart there. Swallow's able to take one out. Taku's finally able to do some work there onto Kappa from inside Aqua, and he's actually going to head towards White Stairs. That's Marmot trying to push up into the luggage from White Stairs, and with just a sliver of health, that's going to be extremely difficult here to take out Tarkus, who's turned actually all the way around though and back into Aquarium. So if Marmot just continues to hold this angle, could prove fatal for Tarkus, and GG is going to actually take out Takus for a 3K on the round, and it's now all up to Bongo Longo for Zane. But making some noise there as GG's going to have to return to try and fight him out here. One sitting right on Cool Vibe Stairs, and that's going to be almost GG taking him out, with also Ciola sitting right there on Cool Vibes, but neither's going to be able to connect their shots, and Bongo, with a minute left, is in a rock and a hard place. Still trying to get the shots off behind Aquarium Bar. It's almost do or die already in the first round here for see you next week. On to Cool Vibe Stairs, almost connecting with Solo, but again, trading 0 shots connecting. And this entire team is descending upon Bongo Longo here in Sunrise Bar, and it is not looking pretty. Jumping through, he's actually going to be able to take out GG, and that's going to be a critical kill here, as he's now able to secure just a little bit more room for himself. As he tries to push up towards Cool Vibes, he has to be careful of his back, but all the way from lobby is Marmot. And that closes out the first round there for Elude. So Elude Esports taking round number 1. And we're going to go into round number 2. Again, with competitive play, and you might be familiar with it in ranked, you actually switch out 6 rounds in between. So Elude Esports is going to be on the defense for 6 rounds in a row. And that will, of course, mean that See You Next Week will be on attack for 6 rounds in a row as well. And with that, at the end of those 6 rounds, they will switch sides and then continue on. There is limited overtime, so that's 3 rounds. And in those 3 rounds, you have to win, 2 of those 3 in order to actually take the game. Another 6 pick is going to come out from Smojo there. That's Mirror onto Doc. And as we start round number 2, we're going to go downstairs to Kitchen, which is actually a favorite of quite a few teams, especially here in Europe, as a lot of them want to start out there over top of Hookah instead, as it just allows for a lot of roam capability, a lot of top-sided play to try and deny the push there from service entrance, which you're looking at right there on your screen. So who's actually choosing to bring out Gridlock, and that's going to be really interesting here, is we're going to see how he uses her tracks to maybe deny like the retake on the side or deny the push onto the plant here as they try to go for the plant, whether in the kitchen window or that service entry. Elude doing nothing too crazy here. Looking like they are playing that top heavy defense we talked about, so that's going to be 3 upstairs and 2 downstairs. Both these teams have fairly experienced here in Go4 play. And the round is underway. IQ going to have to do some work here, but not really too much, because all that's really on the board for her to be able to take out are those Alibi Prisms and the Goo Mines there from Shola. But right in, Bomber goes, trying to get this quick peek onto Doc, and Smojo is actually going to go down, so a great entry frag by Bomber, but immediately refrag there by Shola, and then Bongo onto Cap, and it's just an all-out brawl fight here, as Robbie Lobby's actually pushed all the way into service entrance, trying to peek into bathroom here. Is going to be able to refrag onto GG after GG was able to take out Bongo Longo, and it's back into a 3v2 here, and it's going to have to be a really strong retake here from Elude as they have the site, and they just need to go for the plant. Those track singers coming out, and that's going to be able to really help out Jacuz here as he makes the push, but one guy's actually going to be able to take out Shuola, and that leaves only Marmot, and Marmot's actually going to go down as well there on a quick take. The final kill there by Robbie. What a round for See You Next Week. Absolutely crushing it here as we're through round number 2. So it's 1-1. We had a great defense on the first round, and then an absolutely rough attack there on the second one. Excuse me, rough defense, but a great attack on the second one. They just absolutely took off into sight. They got the opening fragger that was Bomb, that just jumped in, open fragged, jumped back out, but is able to be traded off almost immediately again. And then it's just trade. And then we're down into a 3v2 situation. And the attacking team actually, surprisingly though, didn't go for the plant nearly at all here. And chose only to go for the frags, which, it's not a safe bet to do. But it is a bet, and they were able to pull it off and make it work. However, I would like to see coming here into round number 2 if they can actually figure out potentially how to start to get the plant down, just cover. Like when it's a 3v2, 3v1 situation, the safest plant, just to cover, hold the angles, go for the plant, and not risk losing. They are going to go back downstairs to kitchen though, and playing top heavy again upstairs. We'll see if it bites them in the butt as they just pretty much rushed sight last time. And we do have that jackal by one guy left again, and then also those tracks to help secure the area. So the round is underway. We're into round number 3. Starting out here in the pool. is that the majority of the teams, Smojo trying to open up some long angles, but almost just like this, we'll see if Bomber actually goes for the exact same take he did last time here. This time as Ash after the 6-pick on. Gonna go ahead and identify Doc and choosing this time and not to make the rushed play into Kitchen. So Elude Esports split here. That's a smoke and a Doc on site. The drone's coming out from Takus. Schwola sitting right in Sunrise. GG underneath, and that leaves actually no one above. Kappa with a double kill though on an absolutely nutty long angle peek down into service entry, and that's 2 of them wiped off, including the diffuser. Smojo also taking out Robbie, and that's going to be Bomber down as well, and it's now a 1v5 situation. One guy's got to see Legion there, but he actually doesn't see him at all there. Schwola almost able to finish him off, but now he's going to go down though to the Dock in Kitchen. Smojo on a flawless round from Elude Esports. After round number 3, we're up 2 on Elude. What an absolutely crazy round and a brilliant shot there. Brilliant shot with the SMG at left and coming long into service entry. We're going to go back upstairs to Hookah Lounge and Billiards because the sites are on a 3-round site rotation, which means that after 3 rounds, you're allowed to play that site again as defense if you've won it. So we're going to go back up to Hookah Lounge and Billiards, where they did win the first round. So we'll see if they can win it again and make it up 3-1, looking strong in the first half here on what is typically considered an attacker-sided map. The glass will be brought out unless the 6-pick comes out, which it does not. So the glass will be extremely useful here for the long angles through the windows onto site. Kappa and Smojo there both bring their impacts to the table, and they have a shotgun by GG. They are going to get that long wall angle we talked about in the VIP last time, and yet again, no hard breach here. 0 from next week. Again, we do have some of that information coming out here with the Mozzie ability to capture the drones denied from the defending team, or excuse me, the attacking team, and then Marmot there playing strong with the black eye cams. The black eyes are going to be able to keep them out. They also have the holes open from underneath where they did hold Office extremely strongly last time, so that can help deny maybe some of the push there into Aqua. But oddly enough, no one playing underneath an Office yet at this point, except for now Marmot and GG, as I say that, are going underneath. Something to note here that separates a lot of like amateur teams versus some of the better, more competitive teams is the ability to have multiple looks at different sites. The ability to switch up here is Kappa is going to get the opening kill on Ravido, but Kappa immediately traded off by Bomber. So that's back into a 4v4 almost as soon as it started. Just the ability to identify different looks at different sites, different ways to take different sites, and one guy left just reading GG like a book, and we talk about how you can read different angles, and they're just reading them perfectly here. Is one guy taking out Marmot because Elude going right for the exact same hold that they won with the first time, which is absolutely insane, and they're reading them like an absolute book here. Is next week just moving into Cuz taking out Smojo, actually trading there, and it's now a 3v1 situation, and Schwola has it for Elude here. Bomber getting ready to peek right on. And Schwola's going to take out Bomber, though, on Cool Vibes. It's now a 2v1 situation. Still very clutchable here, especially with one of those two being a Galad. We do have the F2 at the board. He's going to peek it. And a 1v2, he's actually almost going to get the kill, but not quite. As you next week takes round number 4. And we are back to back here, so 2-2 tied up after 4 rounds. Just absolutely nutty gameplay here from both teams. Something extremely important to note, though, again, is we talked about the ability to like create different looks for the enemy team on the site that you're holding. And Elude is holding the site the exact same way that won him the first time, which means that See You Next Week is going to already know exactly what they're doing, and they're just going to play right into trying to counter every single bit of that. And that's exactly what they did in that one of the rounds. So unless Elude just either starts nuttily hitting shots or they figure out how to hold this site differently than last time, then we're going to find ourselves in trouble here in round number 5 as we go back to the balcony. Billiards. Zero variance here in the lineup from both teams, though. Both teams choosing to bring the exact same operators over and over. So it looks like Elude is going to go for the exact same strike, confident that it will work. But we will see here as see you next week. Basically just read them completely like a book there. And it does look like the exact same setup is going to happen. With one guy, though, getting some great early frags on the start of that last round. Could be difficult for Elude here if he's able to do it again. Almost immediately, Bomber starts opening into the bottom half of the site as they try to push Sunrise and Blue Bar. And that's going to be drones coming out here almost immediately, and that's going to be with the help of Robbie Lolo, though, as he comes up onto the Lucas side, and there's just the caster complete dispatch. Not sure why bringing castles at this point after having the amount of denial that See Next Week has been bringing over and over again against those castles. So GG still playing underneath, but not quite into off-season. Minnesota still playing in security, so they are doing the exact same strat, but oddly enough, See Next Week just choosing to ignore it almost completely. They're basically just going to go for it here, but one guy going to get aggressive here on Shoulda, sitting right in Sunrise with the help of Bomber, though. Bomber just waiting for Bomber waiting for Shoulda to get slightly aggressive here, but not quite, and Shoulda's going to be peeking towards the Sunrise entrance, but the Twitch drone actually going to shock him. I don't know why he wouldn't just have played off the information instead of wasting the ability to identify him just like that. And the plant's actually going to go down here. So the plant's going down right in Billiards, not even in the default. The plant's going to go down, but being immediately refragged here. Robbie getting a double kill, though, and it's now a 2v2 situation. Robbie holding the long angle into Billiards. The plant, again, has gone down. That's going to be the UMP-45 ripping there from Smojo, trying to retake the site. Bomber going to get another one, so it's now all up to Smojo, but Smojo's going to go down from both angles. He's not quite able to contend with the split hold there as Robbie gets a third kill on the round. And that is round number 5 for See You Next Week. Kind of a interesting fight there in the beginning. Not really quite sure what was going on there. Especially considering that the Twitch basically had a free kill on just an absolutely free kill there on Schwola, sitting right in Sunrise. If he would just push the Twitch drone up, he didn't hear it, and then just walk up and actually execute him rather than trying to just shock him with the Twitch drone, piss him off a little bit, and then try to double bait him there with Bomber. But in any case, it worked out. They were able to win the round with the plant, but this time changing up and bringing in the Lions. So trying to really secure this 4-2 lead here coming into first half. And again, no operator variance here from Elite Esports. This is their first match, or excuse me, second match of the day. They played one right before this, having won it. Yeah. And that was See You Next Week on a bye. So this is their first for the tournament. Castle still coming out again, despite the fact that we talked about the amount of denial that we're seeing See You Next Week bring with both the Ash and from Bomber, and then Rob, bringing in the Sophia, which has, again, the ability to dispatch quite a bit, especially considering bringing breach charges, etc. If that is what they choose to equip their kits with, of course they're not.
I'm on early.
So making. I'm casting 1 sec. So Bomber actually going to now get the opening frag there onto Shola here in Sunrise. So just, again, reading right into the hand that Elude is trying to play, but they're just not playing it well as they're going into the exact same spots over and over again. And again, just like that, we're going to see Marmot dispatched by one guy left, and Bomber getting another kill onto GG. And it's now very quickly a 2v5 situation. If we kind of look at the spread there of the defending team, Smojo staying right on Cool Vibes and Kappa in Aqua. Smojo waiting for the push up. Cool Vibes. The flashes are going to come out. He's not going to be flashed, though. Gonna be dazed just a little bit, but not actually able to win it all as Bomber's up to the top. Of Cool Vibes there, and then one guy left closed out onto Kappa, and another flawless round. We'll see you next week. We are now 4-2. What a great push there from See You Next Week. Again, we talk about just the inability for Elude to find a variation in their strat book that lets them play the site in a different way than the way they won it the first time, and it cost them literally 3 of those rounds. But in any case, we're going to switch sides now, so that means See You Next Week is going to go over to defense, and Elude Esports is going to come on to attack. We're going to start back in Hookah, where we played the majority of the matchups this far, 4 of them to be exact, and they're going to attempt to hold it in a way different than Elude here, and bring almost a completely different operator lineup, so already off to a good start. As Elude does in fact choose to bring the hard breach, though, just a bit different than before. And talk about the way that both teams have been like trying to attack and then hold this site, and it's just been kind of an all-out brawl fest. There's been really very little strategy except for the plant that went off there in Billiards about halfway through the last half. But then when you're really looking at the way that the team was able to hold it, it just was not, it wasn't centralized. They weren't using their roamers for like time delay or getting frags after the first round when they got spotted out. They were really just honestly going right for doing the exact same thing over and over again, just immediately getting killed out, not even trading because they weren't playing close enough together. If you look at a great example of a roam, you really look at like G2 and some of the other stronger professional teams on how they roam, they buy time, they might not necessarily get kills, but then you're looking a minute into the round and they're not even anywhere near sight yet or unprepped, where as this team has not been able to do that here. And See You Next Week, going to try and do just a bit different. Here's Robbie getting aggressive with the RG-15 out on to Ruins, but gonna get traded off there. Marmot not traded off, but killed off there as Marmot gets a great kill all the way from Ruins. Kind of punching him for the aggressiveness he has down there. Kind of look at the split. That's actually one guy and Bomber both playing underneath. That's Doc up underneath, and then Habana actually opening from the roof there on to the site walls. One guy left, able to trade out onto Smojo though. And so we are very quickly back to a 44 with 2 minutes left. As they're going to try and take the push into Hookah, but Doc again, Bomber with a double kill. And that's on to Shoulder and GG. Kappa's going to take out Takuz though. And that's going to be from the roof, potentially probably on a rotate back there. And Marmot's going to have to go back up to Hookah balcony to try and figure out how to contend with Bomber. Bomber's got to hear him coming up, and Bomber in fact does kill Kappa, but he might not see Marmot there on the stairs. He doesn't. He does now finally see him. He knows he's out of ammo, but doesn't quite push it. And he finally gets the headshot there onto Marmot, and that is a 4K on the round for Bomber. And See You Next Week takes the round. Now up 5-2. Just 2 more rounds here, and See You Next Week will be 100% on their way to the next matchup in this ESL Community Cup. So we're going back downstairs to kitchen, so kind of almost in the exact same format that we saw in the first half. So kitchen, again, a fairly strong side depending on how you play it, but you have to be able to hold upstairs efficiently. And with the roamers that we're seeing See You Next Week push out Robbie, Bomber, they're actually be able to play pretty effectively here. And hopefully they can keep that up here on the upstairs hold. Super important we see on the attacking lineup here. Big Captal coming out there from GG. And that'll be a lot of area denial there with the fire bolts and then also smoke. Captal though, pretty strong in the meta right now, especially if you're trying to look at how he's used, especially in pro league settings. That will shift here coming into next season as the new operator bring out his magnetic version of an ADS basically that is refillable. That will be able to pull those Captal bolts away and actually stop them, unlike Jaeger's ADS, because it currently does not. So, extremely interested to see how that shifts the meta here, especially in Europe. So Robbie going for a run out actually with the P90 there on the pool, and that was just disgusting as Robbie takes out Marmot there. As the loot is already down a member. Not a super important one, but that will be half of their hard soft reach potential. As now GG is going to have to try and contend with this split here. As Robbie and Takuza downstairs, but then Bongo and one guy both hanging out upstairs along with Bomber playing far on the Sunrise side underneath. One guy trying to gain some information for his team, but not able to garner anything really with those black eyes just yet. But some air deny will have to come out here from the loot if they're going to be able to take this. But if they just get drones out and figure out how to pull the site with their drones, get some information for the team, realize that they actually can very easily and very quickly dispatch of Robbie right now. He's the only one on site, and execute a plan. They've just got to figure that out on their drones, but not quite able to make that work yet. And if they don't figure it out soon, then you could just see a delay and then a rotate back downstairs. But GG going to try and fight it out here on to main desk. He is going to fight it out just up. There was one guy left, but one guy left. Going to get hit by that fire up and forced out. Not going to actually switch off on to the gun in time to watch him rotate away. GG's actually going to get a great kill onto Robbie, but immediately be traded back off by the Valkyrie. He tried to kill the first time as one guy gets a great kill onto GG. Kappa able to take out Bomber, and we are actually now in a very aggressive 3v3. Not sure how one guy could not take out Shola there, but she is for now safe in luggage. Capped out dead, so that's going to be a nade if he can actually get it out, but not quite sure if he can. And he's actually going to fall off here, as Takuza is going to be able to pick up one guy left just because Alud decided to leave, basically. So now they're going to start going for the plant take. Now that it is a 3v3, Cap able to take out one guy left on a double kill, so finally able to go down. Takuza not trying to switch back downstairs, even though he really needs to right now, as Kappa is patiently waiting in the luggage as he knows the rest of his team is about to make a plant. And the plant is in fact going to go down here from Shola. All by itself, Bongo actually able to take out Smojo. The plant's going to go down. He's going to get another down and a kill, and that's going to be all the dispatch there on a great retake there from See You Next Week. And that is going to put us into match point here, 6-2 on Coastline. Just kind of an absolute run here. See You Next Week has won round after round after round, just not allowing Alud anything. Even when it seems like Alud has the advantage, they just don't commit to where they need to commit to quick enough, or with the amount of people. They're instead choosing to push solo all the way around the map and not quite going for the push and making it happen. And we're actually going to go to Penthouse Theater, the first time we've seen it played in this matchup, and that is the secondary upstairs site. Typically not played very much in Europe because Mirror is banned so often, but Mirror left unbanned in this matchup will be able to be taken here on Penthouse. So no 6-picks coming out from either team. Actually, we've seen very little of the 6-pick usage taking advantage of here in this matchup, but again, not ultimately important when a lot of the operators you bring are the same ones over and over and over again. They know what you're just going to 6-pick to. Anyways, we are going to have Bandit come out here, which is going to be extremely important for holding the wall into VIP here, where you see one guy left reinforcing right now. And that is where most of the Wild Denial will have to go, because that is one of the standard point spots here on this map. So we're going to come into what is the match point round here. So the matchup could be all over right now, as long as See You Next Week can hold on for one more round. So Smojo trying to contend against this Bomber run out that's been so prevalent the entire matchup. And Robbie able to get a kill almost immediately on to Kappa. And Robbie actually going to be able to come all the way down there, excuse me. Bongo able to get a kill on the Smojo, and then GG trying to frag back out on to but unable, and is now very quickly a 4v2 here as Marmoset and Shella are the only two left here, trying to open the hatchet with the exothermic charge from the roof. They're going to have to make the push. Shella actually able to get a kill though, and it's now into a 3v2. And if they take this, you can see their teammates going to be extremely frustrated here. Bomber rotating back to Hookah to try and contend potentially with Marmot. And Marmot not quite able to get take underway, but one guy left able to see for Momosoda there from the Hookah balcony. It's now a 3v1 situation, but Shola a double kill on the round now, so it's now a 2v1 situation as he's just holding the angles and watching the rotates, and See You Next Week are just absolutely playing into his hand. All the See You Next Week has to do is not get aggressive right now and hold on to this round. Some shots are going to come out there from Bomber all the way from Aquarium on to the roof, but Shola choosing not to play with that. He's in bathroom right now. He's about to get peeked very quickly from the Mira, and see the wide peek not quite coming out. Taka's actually wounding himself almost too little with the one out there. Shola not afraid though. Shola just needs to get aggressive here and make the play, because if he doesn't, he's about to have to fight two of them rather than one. Bomber are gonna come out and try and get the push here. He's reloading though. Peek gonna come out, and Shola trades down onto Bomber. It's now a 1v1. Not quite able to make it happen, and he loses on the one health Mira of Takuz after almost a great retake there, and that is the game. As See You Next Week wins 7-2 on the ESL Go4R Cup and will advance to the next round. I'm MisfitMidas, and this is the ESL Go4 Rainbow Six Siege Cup Italy number 100. Be sure to check back in for more content upcoming, and thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.